Hello, everyone. This is Jenkins Platform SIG meeting, and today we are on July 1st, 2025. Around the table, we have Kevin, Kenneth, welcome back, Birajit, Mark, and Chris Sturd, and of course, myself. There we go. If ever we were to have somebody else join along the way, we would welcome them accordingly. On the agenda, so we'll talk about JDK 21, about Docker Hub, Java Patch Day, Java 25, and of course, the usual suspect, the container image updates for the controller agents, the work in progress on images, and maybe a little thing about Android. Is there anything else you would like to add to the agenda, folks?
Nothing from me. Yeah, nothing from me.
Thank you, Mark. So 2 weeks ago in the previous Jenkins Platform SIG meeting, we were talking about the Jenkins infrastructure team was planning to switch to JDK 21 to build the Jenkins core. And it's been the case for 3 weeks. So even 2 weeks ago, I was late. So it's been 3 weeks now. And as far as I know, there is no issue whatsoever. Am I right, Mark? So we're good. That's pretty encouraging.
You're right. Well, remember, we switched to compiling with Java 21, but we're generating Java 17 bytecode. And we've been doing that with all sorts of things for a year plus. So that there were no issues was exactly what we expected.
Yeah, thank you, Mark. And as you know, I have a golden fish memory. I ask you the same question over and over again. We don't have a date to switch to JDK 21 bytecode yet, right? Even when we'll switch to JDK 25, end of this year or October, we will still produce some JDK 17 bytecode, right?
Yeah, my expectation is we won't stop generating Java 17 bytecode until we drop support for Java 17. And when we drop support for Java 17, that will probably be March-ish, March 2026, right?
Yeah. So I wouldn't say just around the corner, but
well, although end of life date shows end of life for adopt OpenJDK's Java 17, I think already in sometime in 2026. So I was looking at that just recently and was surprised at the relatively soon end of life for OpenJDK's. I'm now going to have to go look just to see OpenJDK.
Yeah, thank you, Mark.
Eclipse Temurin was the thing, and I thought Temurin was showing. Yeah, so they say that Java 17 support. Nope, I'm wrong. We've got 2 years still for Temurin, so we're.
Oh,
we got
okay.
Temurin will support it long after we're done supporting it. We will end support for Java well before Temurin ends their support for it.
Okay, so
we will end support for Java 17 from Temurin long before Temurin itself stops supporting Java 17.
Thank you, Mark. And don't expect me to stop asking this question because I will have forgotten next week. Sorry about that. We received a strange email today or yesterday, can't remember, about Docker Hub subscription canceled. I was in the infra team meeting earlier today, and it looks like they didn't manage to send us emails before the end date, so that they just canceled our subscription instead of just asking to renew it. Are you still interested in using Docker Hub? So if you're using our Docker images these days, you may experience some trouble, some Docker rate limiting. It may not happen. It may happen because we're just in between. They got our answers. They realized they made a boo-boo, and they will get our subscription back, if I'm not mistaken. So in the meantime, you could have some problem downloading our images because, of course, a lot of people are using our Docker images. But if nothing fails on your site, that's okay. We still are delivering our Docker images. Mark, anything you would like to add regarding that?
No, that's exactly right. I took some fairly aggressive changes last night when I saw the message and removed several old accounts, but hopefully the infra team didn't complain bitterly. I left plenty of active accounts behind.
Yeah, thanks a lot for that, Mark. Next subject is the Java patch day. We all love that. I was about to say next month. We already in July. It has to whatever. So 14 days from now, we'll have the Java patch day. Most of the time, it's just security releases and bug fixes, if I'm not mistaken. So we will have to wait a few days or weeks before we have the Tamarin build of these new patch versions. And we should wait until the update CLI kicks in and proposes PRs, automatic PRs to update that. I know you and I, Mark, we are on the starting blocks, always wanting to update everything, but we'll try to keep it cool and wait until update CLI does its job. I can't remember in which repos, but I think one or two of our Docker repos have an update CLI running just about every day. So that should be pretty quick for at least one of our repos. For the other ones, sometimes just 1 week. So we'll have to be very patient. But I can't wait. I love these kind of patch days. I don't know why that gets me excited. Whatever. Now, on to Java 25. So Tamarin has been supplying JDK 25 for quite a while now. I even installed the latest update today on my machine, because why not? So the infra team had started working on this, even if that's not urgent. They have lots of more important things to do, but nonetheless, they started it. Stefan Mel is working a lot of this with the help of Damien. And sometimes I'm just chiming in and giving them trouble. Nonetheless, we are progressing. And by the way, they are also cleaning up the existing processes so that next time we have to switch LTS for the DDK, it will be easier. Nonetheless, we still have a problem for the time being, which is GOS, the tool we're using to test that everything is all right, is not correctly handling the JDK 25 test for Windows. So it reports that everything is okay, despite the zip missing for deep or MSI, I can't remember, the JDK 25, because it's not available sometimes for a particular version for Tamarin. Am I right, Mark? More or less? Yeah.
More or less, yes. So the idea is that Goss somehow decided that it thought we had the latest Java 25 when the latest Java 25 isn't available for Windows. So we couldn't have had it, and yet the test was passing.
Yeah. So the infra team will have to find another tool that can deal with that. We'll see. So that was for the infra. On the other side, we're also trying, but not too hard, to compile the 250 most installed plugins with JDK 25. So we have a Google sheet in which we are tracking what's going on. And I think it's from this morning. So we're still testing 250 plugins, and we only have 13-something% of failed builds. And I think, Mark, you even have more than that. You even are more successful than I am with that. But anyway, that's thanks to the command line you gave me the other day. So we removed some of the static analysis and something that aren't compatible yet with JDK 24 or 25. And that's why we have almost 87% of success. That's quite a milestone.
Those things that require interpretation of Java 25 bytecode, like spot bug, spotless, etc. Those tools have not been updated for Java 25 yet, so it's actually unreasonable of us to expect that they'll work. So we turn them off, and we're happy when a portion of the things compile. They tell us good things.
Indeed. And I'm pretty confident, because the other day when we were discussing that with Basil Crow, he said, "Oh, that's okay. It's kind of easy, at least for him, to just switch the version of all the tools with dependencies we have when they are compatible with JDK 25. So that should work pretty easily, but maybe it will prove me wrong a few months from now. We'll see." And Mark, is it still the target? Is it still around October on our side to switch to official JDK 25? Okay, thank you. So we're good. October is 3-4 months away. That's okay. Any comments, questions on this subject? No. Thank you. So let's go through with the container image update. So we've seen a new LTS last week. No, last week? Yeah, last week. Well, yeah, last week. I even can spell last week correctly. Okay. And I haven't seen anything wrong since then. I think people aren't complaining, but there were that many changes, if I'm not mistaken. It was mostly dependency updates. So what did we see in the image, not in the Jenkins War itself? We bumped the Alpine Linux version, the Debian Bookworm version, and UB9 version. Nothing major. On the weeklies now, we have seen bumps on Git LFS, a bump on UB9, and for the Jenkins agents, we've seen 2 new releases for the SSH agents. We will talk about that quite a bit, I think. We tried to bump the Git version on Windows, and we had to revert that later on. We also changed something on the adoption API call because somehow along the way, they changed the way, or maybe Windows or one of the Windows tools, PowerShell, whatever, changed the way the URL is encoded. So we had to encode underscore, but not the plus anymore. But that's okay. We also bumped the Debian Bookworm Linux version and the Git LFS version. So, do we have somebody from the infra? No, we don't have on the call. So let me try that, and Mark will correct me. So when we got the Windows 2.50 Git version, it started to fail. When we tried to build the weekly release, it just failed because somehow it fails along the way when using SSH remote URLs. So it has been tracked in an issue that is now closed. And there are some workarounds. So if you're stuck or think you're stuck, you're not. You can switch to HTTPS whenever it's possible for you, or you can revert to the previous version, or you can use the latest version, which has rolled back to the 249 dot something version. Okay. Thank you, Mark, for confirming.
Right.
So we should be good with that. And of course, we are waiting for the fix from Microsoft. It's from Microsoft? Yeah, I think so. Yeah, it is.
Johannes works for Microsoft. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very grateful
Thank
that
you, Mark.
Microsoft pays the Git for Windows maintainer full-time to be their employee.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so thank you. So we were hopeful last week that they would supply us with a new version in a timely manner, but it has not happened yet. But we do prefer something that works, that arrives later on. That's something that's still broken. So that's okay. Thanks a lot for your work, Johannes. As for the Docker agent, so we have 2 new versions. Of course, the usual suspect. We have some bump versions. We have the same problem for the Git version on Windows, unfortunately. And I think that's it. There is a discussion. I don't think I tracked it directly, but it's linked to the 1005, which is, shouldn't we use another source for Git and Git LFS? Is it on this one? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, so the discussion, at least Hervé's question was, should
Yeah.
we build Git from source? And I liked Damien's answer very much. No.
Yeah.
Damien gives very good reasons why not, but the fundamental answer is no. Git LFS, on the other hand, can we install it from binary? Yes. So
Yeah.
that's the simple, and they're both right.
Yeah, if I understood correctly, GitLFS doesn't have that many dependencies, so we could even build it by ourselves, but that's not the path we chose. We chose to just grab the targets from their GitHub repo in the releases and just install it. It looks like it's been compiled with static libs, so we shouldn't have any dependency problem. So that's not a problem. But I can't remember if it was you or Mark or Damien who sold that if we wanted to compile Git by ourselves, or just grab the target and install it by ourselves, we could have tons of problems because it depends on packages that may not be installed and so on. So that's not such a good idea, even if that looked pretty exciting to me. Yeah, we'll build the Git by ourselves. No, not such a good idea, unfortunately. That's because, I found it, you don't care, but I will say it nonetheless. I used to work with CentOS quite a while, and quite a bit. And it was a long time ago, but it was CentOS 7, and nothing was up to date. It was a pain in the neck, to be honest. So we had to recompile just about everything to get it working with recent software. And I used to compile Git on a weekly basis, but that's all history. We don't care about that, and that's not something you should do.
Is you were paying the price for your sin of choosing to use something that old. That's okay that you paid the price. You've now found a better way.
Indeed. Thank you, Mark. As for the work in progress on images, we have nothing pending on the controller. For the Docker agent, we have, that's the link I was thinking of. Installed GitLFS from repo, and I don't think it's working yet. So yes, Hervé is working on that, so that we don't rely on the GitLFS version that is delivered with the current distro. We are using it from the GitHub release repo release.
Which is how we're already doing it on the controller. So what he's
Indeed.
is making the agent consistent with the controller install technique.
Which is a good thing. Yeah. And for the Docker SSH agent, no, the Windows setting, it's over. This issue has been solved. And yes, I gave a talk last week on how to configure a Jenkins controller and an agent on an Android device. So it was in a French conference, and lots of people were in the room, despite it being a very niche subject. So it went well, and some people were ready to go to do the same thing when they were leaving the conference. So we'll see. Of course, it doesn't make much sense, but I had quite a lot of fun preparing this talk, and yeah, maybe that will help somebody somewhere. But yeah, of course, that doesn't make any sense. Is there any other subject you would like to address, folks? So that's a wrap. The video should be available from 24 to 48 hours, and we should see each other's, 14 days from now. I was just checking in my head, because in France, that will be around the Bastille Day, but whatever, it's just the day after. So we're good. See you 14 days from now, and thanks a lot for coming. Bye-bye.